Good morning.
Belated happy Easter to all as we enter getting closer to commencement. We're almost in May.
That's right.
As we wait for our quorum, I wanted to do what we always do, which is start with introductions so people are aware who's in the room. And Ryan, if I could start with you back there, please, and say hello.
Yeah, Ryan Noble, IT.
Bob Tremonti, Assistant to the President for Special Projects.
Gail Frazier, IAM's assistant.
Ken Curley, trustee.
Tamara Alsase, trustee.
Newest trustee. We'll hear more from Tamara in a minute. I'm Jeff Stone, chair of the board.
Items a guy president.
Igor, student trustee.
John, please.
Good morning, John Reinholz, Chief of College Safety.
Eric Nealon's Vice President of Enrollment Management.
Legal affairs.
Adam Patterson, Vice President of IRAP.
Lisa Powell Fortna, AVP Human Resources and Organizational Development.
Dave Taylor, Assistant Vice President.
Katie Marshall, Dean of Continuing Ed.
Colleen Cleary Quinn, Mathematics Department, College Senate Chair.
Jim Frankhauser, Maintenance and Facilities.
Teresa Golan, ITS Coordinator and Project Lead, and I'm also a trustee for the AAECC.
Katie Cook, AAECC President. My other job is Director of Financial.
Sherry Greenwood, Negotiations Rep for AAECC, and also an Assistant Project Coordinator for the Mental Health Curriculum and Education to Recovery.
Good morning, Denise DeBlasi. I am the Negotiation Chair for the AAECC. I am also the Dean of Employment and Training Services for our federal grant that is sponsored by Erie County.
Good morning, Crystal Ramsey. I am Secretary for AAECC, and I am the Director of Institutional Grants.
Elaine Gross, Recording Secretary for the AA and Facilities and Events.
Good morning, my name is George DeRosa. I'm the Vice President of the Administrators Association of ECC, and I'm also Director of ERP and HCM in the Human Resource Department.
Very good. Okay. Thank you all. Oh, sorry. Yeah, pardon me.
Kimberly Grumman, I'm a counselor with our Citizen First Center here at North Campus.
Tanika Jackson, Assistant to President Valley.
And Jeff Switek from House and Rest Law Firm.
Thanks, everyone. And I'd like, oh, hi, Carrie. I see you were there. Okay. And Charles
Carrie
as
Phillips,
well.
trustee. Good morning.
And Bill's
Yep.
on too.
And Bill Reuter, I see you on screen, I think.
Yes.
You'll see me on screen. Apologies, I am just out of surgery, not looking very svelte right now, so I am going to stay on. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
And Charles Trottier, good morning.
Good morning, Charles Stratier with Dresham Lenkey, the auditors of the college.
Great. And that Dana Horn, right? Spotlight on Dana. Anyone else online, Ryan or Bob?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. I'd just like to thank everyone for being here and particularly welcome our colleagues from the AAECC. I know you're here in support of the process that's going on and your membership outside and here. And just know that you're welcome here and that we're glad that you're in dialogue with us. And I made a statement last month about our views on the process, and I won't reiterate that now, but I'm glad you're here and you're welcome. Hi, Trina Burris.
Good morning. Apologies for being late.
All right, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have our quorum, so I will take roll call, and then Tammy, I'll introduce you and ask for some remarks. Jeff Stone, the chair, is present. Carrie Phillips, secretary, present by virtual. Dr. Tamara Alsase, present. Trina Burris.
Present.
Ken Crewley.
Here.
Richard Lipsis, Amanda Lau, excused. Amanda is coming. She will be here in about 15 minutes, I understand. Candace Morrison, Richard Lipsis, excused. Igor Soares Pinheiro, student trustee.
Yep. Here.
2, 3, 4. We have 6 trustees present and therefore a quorum, so I'll call the official meeting to order. At this time, I'd like to, with pleasure, introduce our newest trustee, Dr. Tamara Alsase. Tammy and I had lunch together March 25th and got to know each other a little bit. She comes to us courtesy of Governor Kathy Hochul, and Beyond that, I just ask you to introduce yourself, let us know what you've been doing professionally, personally in the community that wound up with you sitting with us here at the table, and we welcome you.
Thank you so much. Everyone calls me Tammy Alsace. I am a Latina, daughter of Dominican parents who emigrated from the Dominican Republic to Buffalo back in the 1950s. I was born and raised here. I spent my career in the Buffalo schools as a bilingual educator, and in my last 10 years I was the director of multilingual education, so I oversaw the programs for bilingual education, ESL, and world languages. And since my retirement in 2015, I've continued to work in my field, doing consulting with a number of different entities, and for the past 7 years I've been on a project with the City University of New York called the CUNY Initiative on Immigration and Education. I'm passionate about language, culture, and student development. That's a little bit about my professional work. I work in the Latino community. I was a founding member of the Hispanic Heritage Council and was their secretary for 10 years on that board that's building the Hispanic Heritage Cultural Institute on Niagara Street in Buffalo. I continue to be involved with them. I'm on the board of some other entities, including the Community Foundation for Greater Buffalo, where I will be the chair. I'm the chair-elect this year, so next year I'll be the chair of that board, and the Western New York Foundation, and I have a great interest in just the development and improvement of our community. And so, and I think education is the key to that. So I'm really thrilled to be part of this board, and I know the important role that ECC plays in preparing people in our community to be the future leaders and community members that contribute to the growth and prosperity of our community. And so I'm very happy to see how I can what role I can play and how I can contribute to this board. I'm looking forward to learning with you, and I think that's it.
So much for retirement. That's not the definition of it. I just want to be clear.
My family tells me how poorly I've been doing at that.
Yeah, I've got the same lecture, so.
I forgot to say that I am a mother and a grandmother. I have two children, adult children, who one is here in Buffalo, and she's an urban farmer on the east side of Buffalo, and my son lives in Denver, Colorado. He's in marketing in the tech field, and he's the father of my two grandchildren, Cameron and Zoe, one who is 4 and one who is 7 months.
Okay, you and I are going to exchange phone pictures after the meeting, okay? I think a wise woman or man once said, if you want something accomplished, go to a busy person. So that's what I think we're doing here. I'm glad to have you on board, Tammy, and be part of our board of trustees and our table. So
thank you.
We have a quorum. What I'd like to just give a quick overview of what's going to happen today. We do have the need for an executive session. I don't expect it to be particularly long today. It's an update. The reason we're going to go into executive session is to get just an update on any pending litigation and an update on the collective bargaining agreements that we have pursuant to the civil service law. So once that's completed, we'll come out. The main order of business today, and everyone's welcome to be here, of course, for this, is the budget. We have a presentation on the budget. We will be asking to adopt resolutions to approve the budget and related materials so that they can be sent to the county executive by May 10th. I would note that we do not yet have a state budget in final form. So there is the possibility that we may, in May, have to have a special meeting. We don't have a scheduled meeting in May. We have commencement where we'll all be together. But if need be, if the final budget, when we know it, at the state level has a material impact on our finances in any way, which frankly I do not expect based on what we've been hearing, then it would may be necessary to call a special meeting and repeat this process with a revised budget. But I think the odds are quite high that we will not need to do that, and the budget that we'll vote on today can in fact be submitted to the county executive. We'll send it by May 10th, regardless of the status of the state budget, and then we'll take cues from the Rath Building if we have to do anything different than that. So the budget is the main focus today. We do have some contracts to approve and so forth, so all that'll take place in public session after this. We also have a report from Charles, who's on the line. A couple of weeks ago, we had a very robust budget meeting under Ken's chairmanship, and we heard from Charles. He gave us a full report on the college's financial statements. He'll give a somewhat more modified view of that for the whole board, and we'll accept those. So that's what we'll do. For the moment, the action step is a motion to go into executive session for those two limited purposes. I'll take it from Igor in a second. Yeah, Trina? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll go into executive session and we'll get back just as soon as we can for everybody, okay? Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for your patience. We are out of executive session, having been briefed on and discussed ongoing collective bargaining negotiations, and we took no formal action in executive session. We're now back in public, and against the possibility, I want to make sure we do our business while we have our quorum. We will start with the approval of minutes from March 26th. They were circulated with our materials. Unless there's any comments, I'll take a motion to pass those, please, and approve them. Trina, thank you. Second? Igor. All in favor?
Aye.
The minutes are approved. As for the presentation, I know Charles is with us. Charles, we may defer you a little bit longer, please, because we want to make sure that we have as many trustees here as possible for our business items, and then we'll take the presentation on our financials, if you can bear with us. Action items. We're going to start with the most important item, and there's quite a few coming out of Ken's committee, Budget, Audit, and Facilities, Trustee Crewley. By way of preface, we had a robust discussion, not only of the college's financial statements that Charles is going to brief the board on, but also the budget at our meeting 2 weeks ago. And we got a very thorough grasp on what we're doing. And Ken, the job here is to make sure that in addition to our materials that we've all received, including Dr. Sagai's summary of the budget and all the budget materials, that we know what we're in position to vote on this today. Ken?
The budget that's been put together is a budget that is a responsible budget. It's dealing with actual revenues and expenses that are realistic. And what they wind up doing is that our projected operating revenues are about $4 million less than our operating expenses. The difference is going to be made up by use of fund balance. We've put fund balance in the last budget or two, but we haven't had to use it because there have been management things that have been done during the year that saved money, and we're not had to go through the fund balance. This one might likely wind up using some of the fund balance because of the amount is so great, but it's nonetheless a solid budget. We're holding the line on tuition, which is the fourth year in a row that we're doing that. We're not going to be able to do that forever. But we now in the situation where we're among the lowest tuition schools in the whole state of New York, community colleges, and it's because of the tight management that's going on here. And they defer to Bill to give us any more details on what's appropriate to fill us in.
Thanks. Bill, go ahead.
Thank you, Ken, and thanks for that high-level summary. I'll just plug in a few things. As Ken mentioned, this budget, the actual projected expenses for the current year will result in an operating deficit of over $4 million. The initial budget projection for next year, again, another $4 million deficit, and future years, because we do include a multi-year financial projection as part of the budget document, that loss increases significantly over the following 3 years. As Ken said, this budget before you has no changes, not only to tuition, but there are no fee increases, so we are responsive to our students, so no tuition, no fees, and to verify, we are in fact the lowest community college in the state of New York at our current tuition rate for the next year. So I think that bodes very well for our students as well as the fiscal integrity of the institution, but there will be changes down the future as far as projected future increases. As Jeff said at one point, this budget is based upon a state budget that gets approved maintaining the floor for state aid for community colleges. If that floor is not maintained and we are funded back based upon enrollment, initial projections, that would be a $7.1 million decrease in estimated revenues, which would be dramatic and would necessitate the Board of Trustees taking another look at the budget. But it is based upon that maintenance of effort from the state of New York. No change in county support. We do include 3 capital projects in the budget that were submitted to the county just yesterday, and that is for a project involving the Vehicle Tech Training Center, continuation of our facility master plan, and continuation of our athletic fields at North Campus but that has to go through both the state and the county approval process, but we do earmark it in the budget for the board's information. There are only 3 resolutions the Board of Trustees is required to pass, and that is a sort of a maintenance of effort resolution. The other 2 are just a total appropriation amount of the budget, and then thirdly is adopting the tuition and fee schedule. And I think that is sort of a very high level at this point in time, but I'm more than happy to answer any questions. And apologies ahead of time. I know Gail and I were going back and forth last night. She sent me something very early. We had some PDF issues, but we will get that resolved and make sure everything is airtight prior to submitting it to the county prior to May 10th. And again, there will be no changes to the numbers. It's just really formatting some of the tuition fee schedules and the comparisons at state and New York level that we get from SUNY. So if there are any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Thanks, Bill. We had a very robust discussion of this. So, I think on the tuition question, Ken's right. This is not going to be something that we can do indefinitely. But given the uncertainty with the federal budget and impact on student aid, and our, frankly, our competitive position with 32 other institutions here or nearby us, this is something that we've got to maintain our niche as the most affordable and flexible and accessible educational option in Western New York. So that was the judgment of the Budget Committee, and I think the Board of Trustees, as we've discussed this over the past couple of months. Because of the significance of this, which I consider to be second only to the appointment of a president by the board, we have resolutions here that I need to read because they go to the county and the county legislature. They also do a pretty good job of summarizing our situation. So with your indulgence, I'm just going to read these resolutions. We'll take them collectively at the end, okay, with the motion to approve all 3. Bill, Reuter, and Gail, I just want to make sure that when you refer to a maintenance of effort resolution, it's this long one, as I'm picturing.
It's the first one.
Yeah.
Correct.
And the second
That's what we
is
used to call it, Jeff.
approving the budget itself.
Honestly, hasn't changed much in the past 20 years, so.
Yeah, and approving the fee schedule. Those are the key elements. So once we adopt these 3 with a collective vote, unless you wish to separate them, we'll send them to the county executive with the note that we may have to revisit this subject. So the resolution is 2627 SUNY Erie Community College budget. Whereas the college is committed to managing itself in a fiscally responsible manner despite demographic challenges, increased competition, and the optimization of a new ERP system. And whereas the college, like other community colleges, has faced significant enrollment declines in recent years that have now leveled off. And whereas approximately 75% of SUNY Erie's budget revenue is historically derived from student enrollment. And whereas continued enrollment challenges and the resultant impact on revenues present significant financial pressures on the college that continue. And whereas SUNY Erie is dedicated to addressing the needs of its diverse student body, which includes Erie County residents, non-traditional students, and individuals with various financial needs, ensuring that they have the support and resources necessary to succeed academically. And whereas SUNY Erie has embarked on a strategic plan update focusing on student success, diversity, equity, and belonging, economic development, upward mobility for students, and institutional stability, with input from various stakeholders through focus group sessions. And whereas SUNY Erie, the college, has secured a lease for the 50 Cobham property, which will support expanded facilities and services for students and the community, furthering its educational and workforce development efforts, highlighting a commitment to optimizing operations for academic excellence. And whereas SUNY Erie has proactively adjusted staffing levels to align with current enrollment trends and levels, resulting in cost savings and more sustainable staffing structure. And whereas SUNY Erie continues to expand its co-enrollment presence in local high schools, providing cost-effective college courses to Erie County students. And whereas SUNY Erie continues to expand and improve its online programming to provide flexible education options to its students' population. And whereas SUNY Erie has increased its effort in building community partnerships, and whereas these efforts have allowed SUNY Erie to provide significant educational opportunities to thousands of individuals in Erie County and Western New York at a reasonable cost compared to other public and private colleges and universities in New York State. And whereas studies demonstrate a community college student is much more likely to remain in the local region, thereby being employed, raising families, paying taxes, and contributing in a positive economic fashion to the vitality of the region. Now therefore be it resolved, although policy states that SUNY Erie's undesignated fund balance shall not be expended, earmarked, utilized, or otherwise designated without the approval of the Board of Trustees, consistent with autonomy and fiscal standards identified through Middle States accreditation and SUNY regulations, the current financial uncertainties have over the past several years caused the college plans to utilize its undesignated fund balance to balance its operational budget this year. And be it further resolved that the SUNY Erie Board of Trustees and SUNY Erie will continue to review and analyze its fiscal operations, seeking opportunities to increase revenues and reduce expenses. And be it further resolved that the SUNY Erie Board of Trustees and SUNY Erie seek to work with Erie County, New York State, and the local business community to continue to identify opportunities to better utilize SUNY Erie as the recognized leader in workforce development. And be it finally resolved that upon approval by the SUNY Erie Board of Trustees, a copy of this resolution, along with the approved SUNY Erie's 26-27 proposed budget, be forwarded to the Erie County Executive and to the Erie County Legislature. That's motion number 1. Motion number 2 is brief. It says, resolved that the Erie Community College operating budget for the fiscal year commencing September 1st, 2026 and ending August 31st, 2027 of $98,585,867 is approved. Lastly, another and third resolution, resolved that the Board of Trustees of Erie Community College hereby approves the tuition and fee schedule for the fiscal year commencing September 1st, 2026 and ending August 31st, 2027 as attached. So those are the motions for which I will seek, those are the resolutions for which I will seek a motion to approve all three collectively by vote. Anyone? Ken, our budget chair? Second, Trina Burris. All in favor of approving all three of these resolutions and forwarding the budget in the described form to the county? Say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Carrie, I saw you raise your hand. Was that an approval vote? Yeah, okay. Thank you. There's a little delay on the tape. Okay. All trustees present and by virtual having voted in approval, these three motions are approved. Thank you. And Ken, thank you for your work on the budget committee. And I'd like to, of course, thank Bill, Arda, and everyone who's been involved in getting this in front of us for the last couple of months. Okay. Any questions on that? Then let's move to, please, the next action items out of the budget committee. Designation of capital chargeback account.
Bill, can you talk to that one?
Certainly.
Thank you.
All community colleges in the state of New York receive chargebacks for a student from another county within the state of New York that attends Erie Community College. The largest part of it is what's called an operating chargeback, and every community college has a different operating chargeback rate depending upon local share divided by resident FTEs. And then every community college receives a pro rata amount of what's called a capital chargeback, and that is theoretically for facilities that are being used and need to be rebuilt or rehabilitated for those students from outside Erie County that are attending. So that charge is $300 per FTE. We have put it into a deferred revenue account, and we are proposing through this resolution to unallocate that and designate the funds to use as a match of available state dollars for several facility projects involving city campus. We've not had the funds to complete the ADA restroom project at city campus. We've not had the funds to properly move an academic program into 45 Oak Street, and we've not had the funds to move student services into the main post office building. So these funds, and we don't have to go through the county capital budget process, we don't have to go through the SUNY capital budget process. These funds are available at the state level from old projects that have already been liquidated. We just would need the Board of Trustees to approve the resolution and then have the county legislature approve the resolution. There's no county money involved, so it should not be an issue, and we've done this in the past. And then just send a document to SUNY ascertaining and attesting to the fact that we do have these capital chargebacks set aside. If we do not liquidate these balances, there are rules in place that if your balances are above a certain level, you cannot charge that $300. You have to charge a smaller amount, so forth, so on. So I think this is a very cost-effective way to get some significant deferred maintenance and projects done at City Campus without having to wait, quite honestly, through the 2027 county capital budget process and then the 27-28 SUNY capital budget process.
I agree. It's a jumper start for city. The materials here, are the executive summary, page 24, 25. The resolution we'll be looking at in a minute is page 26. Bill, could you comment or Dr. Sagai, this money is earmarked for city campus, and of course we have a new campus, newly renovated campus at Cobham in the south. What about North? Was there thought that some of this earmark should have gone to facilities at North, or is city so unique in its needs that this is the proper step?
So thank you. At North, I think we've been investing a lot and we've been doing a lot of projects, so I think we're good. City, though, it's something that the college did not continue the renovation at City, as well as the labs and the classrooms are so inadequate that we feel that it's important that we equally focus on City, as we do have some project coming at North as well.
Okay. Questions on this? We'll take this individually.
Just to further Dr. Sky's comments, we do have a generic project that we've been including in the county requests and the state requests for the past 5 or 6 years, facility master plan, and we've worded that very broadly that those funds can be allocated anywhere. It could be city or North Campus. We're just earmarking this particular resolution on city campus because there's an immediate need. Otherwise, we'd have to wait till going through the county 2027 budget and then the SUNY 27-28 budget.
Okay, any questions? If not, we'll take the motion, which you find on page 26, increasing from $1 million to $1,400,000, the allocation out of the chargeback fund to city campus capital projects triggering matching state aid. Motion to that effect? Thanks, Tamara. And second by Ken Crewley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'll have approved that. Thank you, Bill, for that summary.
Absolutely.
And now we're into some things, Ken, where we talked about at the Budget Committee, the Huron.
I got David Taylor.
Dave?
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Hi, Dave.
2 quick items from ITS, and thanks to Ken for getting this on Budget Committee. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. The Huron Consulting Agreement is a extension on the current agreement that started in 2023. So the original agreement was $4 million for the Workday Student Optimization Project. Most of the student optimization projects have come to an end or will end this month. There's about $1.4 million left on that allocation that we did, I guess 3 years ago at this point. So we'd like to extend the contract with Huron to August of 2027 with the goal of using this for more operational things, some more administrative dollars so that we can do some more knowledge transfer and get more of our Workday optimization pieces done in other areas that are outside the student things. Example of this would be the financial aid process happens every year. We've got great staff that work on that. Teresa Golan does a great job with those pieces, but we consult with Huron. They know our systems, so rather than seek somebody else for the student optimization ending and some of the administrative pieces, we'd like to continue with Huron for the next 15 months. It's a favorable agreement. If we don't end up using them, we don't pay anything, and we remove the monthly minimum spend dollars from the existing agreement. So Huron has worked with us to get that there.
Ken, this is within the framework of the original approved arrangement. Any
Right.
comments from you
No
on
extra
this?
dollars.
You approve it?
Already there. Yeah, and I would make a motion to approve that resolution.
Thanks. We find that motion on page 29 of our materials. It's behind the executive summary. Second to Ken's motion? Igor? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thanks, David. Thanks, Ken.
Thank you.
That's approved.
The next one?
Yep, please.
Toshiba Print?
Toshiba.
Yep.
That's
So same also for me and ITS. So it says a lot in the resolution here, so it's pretty self-explanatory. But the idea is that we would purchase new printers for campus. It is a smaller footprint than the existing footprint on campus for printing. ITS worked closely with SUNY System in their green print, reduced print initiatives, and identified spaces on campus for the new printers to reduce that footprint. Joe and ITS team did an analysis of whether a lease option or outright purchase would be better, and we save about $350,000 by purchasing the devices outright rather than going with a 5 or longer term lease.
Made a lot of sense at Budget
It's a
Committee.
good deal for the school.
Yeah, exactly. Motion, Ken?
I move to approve.
Second? Trina. All in favor of the Toshiba motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have to go back to item 5 on our agenda, the student activity fee allocation. And let's look at that executive summary. I thought that might have been incorporated within the 3 that we did, but it wasn't. So, who is reporting on that?
Dana.
Oh, hi, Dana.
Okay. Can I have it in front of me? Sorry, I've not prepared. So the student activity fee, thank you. The committee met and they came up with this proposal. And so they proposed the 15% fee, and this kept us within a reasonable budget.
This is found on page 22 of our materials. Any questions for Dana? And this came out of a committee or a group?
Yes, so there is a committee, a student activities fee committee that is made up of ASC student, our dean of students, as well as Lynn, and they gather to meet to assess how they want the student activity fees distributed. And so the equitable distribution for the SGA is the 15%. There is the stipend for the student trustee, and then this also supports the Opportunity Programs Child Care and ASC Business Office. As you are all aware, the child care ran into some issues this year with losing some funding, and so they had to do an emergency funding with part of that, and so that's why you see a little bit more for the child care this year, but they are continuing to seek other sources of funding for child care as well.
Okay. Igor, as student trustee, are you comfortable with the process and the outcome here?
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? Igor, you want to make a motion to approve that allocation?
Motion.
A second?
Second.
Thanks, Ken. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Dana, why don't you stay there?
All right.
Can we skip ahead to number 10, because that's the NFTA agreement?
Sure. We apologize that we couldn't bring that to committee first. So this is an out-of-committee a proposal. The NFTA contract, that current contract expires May 31st of this year. NFTA approached us with a new proposal this year, moving from how we were currently being billed with the NFTA, which was one set fee, to a pay-as-you-go. When NFTA gave us the numbers of our ridership over the course of the past year, it was a dramatic decrease in costs if we went towards a pay-as-you-go. NFTA is trying to increase their ridership in partnerships. Our understanding from them, and Bill, you can correct me if I misunderstood anything, is that after COVID, their ridership dramatically decreased, and so they're trying to figure out ways to get more engaged. Canisius College is on this program new this spring. It has been a successful switch for them as well, and so we believe that this will benefit our students.
So just to clarify, we're just asking the board for us to enter into contract. We have not gotten to that detail. We have to look at our data, see if that is beneficial for our students. As Dana was mentioning, Canisius and Buff State, we have residents in those facilities. They're not commuters as much as our students. So our students not only use the bus passes, the NFTA bus passes, just to go from school to home, they use it for multiple things as well to go to work. So we are looking at the data first, our data. I know NFTA has their data, but we are gonna look at our data and see what's best. So what we're asking for the board is for us to just enter into a contract. The specific of the contract, we have not settled on that in terms of what decision the college will take. We need a little bit more work.
This will be no matter what you decide, this will be less expensive than the current arrangement.
Correct.
People comfortable with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, why don't we take a motion then on page 38 is our language, approving the entrance as of roughly June 1st into a new arrangement with the NFTA, supplanting the expiring agreement on May 31st with a new fee arrangement, more on usage and less on fixed fee. Motion to that effect, Tammy? Second, Igor. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's approved, thanks. Are we going to jump back, Ken, to the Gilbane Turner?
Yep, thank you.
This is just a kind of a continuation and wrap up. The firms have been renting space on the South Campus as they construct the stadium. The stadium, as we know, is almost done, but they'd like to occupy it toward the end of the year. And so there's some additional revenue coming to the college, but then all good things end, and that the revenue will disappear. But in the meantime, this will bring a few more dollars in. Leslie, you want to add to that?
Yep, just say we're doing a similar situation that we've done with some of our other lease agreements where we will go on a month-to-month basis. We're extending the lease, and they also asked if they can utilize one of our lots that are not used by the college right now, and they will be paying us additional revenue to do so.
Okay. We've continued to be a good partner, and they to us, on the whole development over there, so comfortable with this, Ken?
Yes.
Okay. Want to make a motion on that? Page 33?
So moved.
Or 35, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Second, Igor. Any opposed? Okay. All right. That's the Gilbane Turner license and occupancy extension through the end of November. Dr. Sagai, or your designee, Young and Wright?
Yep. Leslie?
So Young and Wright, our relationship with them was as a result of an RFP in 2021, and that resulting agreement gave the option of an extension, and now we are requesting a second extension. There was a first extension, and now we're looking to exercise the right to go into an additional extension agreement with them.
Dr. Sagai, any comment on that?
And Young and Wright is helping us with a lot of the project, including the plan for city. So they are helping the college with the Auto Tech Center as well as the city project.
And this is all within the framework of the original RFP response?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
And you'll recall previously, I think it was the prior meeting that you approved a project.
Right.
Right, that came about as a result of that RFP relationship.
Okay, Ken, you comfortable with this?
Yes.
Okay, want to make a motion?
So moved.
All right, that's on page 35 of our material. Sorry, Young and Wright was 30. Let me make sure we've got that right.
39. Sure, looking at the right thing here. There it is. Okay, right. Just following in the normal course under the RFP response. Ken's made a motion. A second, please. Tammy, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That is approved. That concludes, Ken, I think, the budget action items.
Yes.
And we next have student success.
Eric is coming.
Eric, okay, thanks. Page 41 in your materials.
Good morning. Thank you for considering this next motion for approval. Is a opportunity to help support. To start is our mechatronics AOS and certificate program. This is with an organization referred to as Social Finance, and they are looking to collaborate with us through the SUNY Impact Foundation, specifically the SUNY Pay It Forward Fund. This would provide students that are in that program with an opportunity to access a zero interest outcomes-based loan, which is where students can then utilize these funds to help them with any barriers that they may be facing to complete that program of study, including things such as tools or other living expenses that they may have. SUNY Maritime has a program similar to this at this time, so we would be continuing in that partnership with SUNY. As an opportunity also with the outcomes-based loans, that if individuals do not make a certain threshold upon completion based on income, that's where then they would not be required to continue to pay that back. So it's an opportunity to really invest in the students as well as the outcomes, and really help those students to continue to then pay that forward.
So as I understand it, this is not in the nature of a direct outlay by the college, but rather an authorization that allows our students to access others'
correct.
money.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. That's a win-win. Any questions for Eric?
Eric, I'm just a question. Are the loans credit based, and so, but even in repayment, is that true?
I don't know about the credit base in terms of eligibility. It's through a separate entity, but it is gonna go through then our Elm loan service provider that we use for other alternative loan processes.
I'd be surprised if it were credit-based. It's so hard to have a credit record of any significance when you're a student.
Yeah, I don't believe that it does in terms of eligibility for them to meet that.
Okay. So you're looking for a motion to greenlight this?
Correct, yep, and then
Okay.
allow us to partner then with the Social Impact Fund.
Okay, we have a motion to that effect? Igor, second? Trina, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's blessed, thanks. Now, we have informational items, but before, and reports as usual, but before we go to those, unless I'm told there are other action items, Gail or Dr. Sagai? We've got the budget taken care of, we've done the other things. This would be the right time to hear from Charles while we have our trustees in full strength. Those who need to leave, that's fine, but we'll have reports and some informational items after that before we adjourn. Charles Trottier is our outside auditor, and his firm, Lumsden & Drescher Malecki, is actually going to give us the overall college financial statements. A couple of months ago, we had the ASC statements, and the foundation statements are kind of wrapped up into the college ones. So Charles, thank you for being with us. Thank you for your work over the years with us.
Of course, thanks for having me. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Okay, so this will serve as the full-on presentation for the college's audit for the year ended 8/31/2025. So we're certainly months removed from it, so we're going to present balances as of that date. We did meet with the Budget and Audit Committee on April 9th to go into a more detailed version of this presentation. So these have been issued on April 21st. They are now available to be circulated and included in the county's financial statements, as the college is a component unit of the county as a whole. So we'll just go right through it. Auditor communication. So we went into more detail again with the Budget and Audit Committee, but this is just our required communications that we have to have with the group overseeing the audit, making sure that our responsibility is being followed. So our responsibility under generally accepted auditing standards is to provide that opinion on your financial statements, your numbers. Can these financial statements be relied upon? And the answer is yes. So basically the main document that we issue is your audited financial statements. In that audit, you have two opinions. The first one is at the front on our letterhead that talks about the numbers and disclosures that are being reported are free of material misstatement, and they can be relied upon by the outside users. So we ran a series of tests on the numbers, and we believe that the amounts that are disclosed fairly present the balance sheet and the results of operation of the college as of August 31st, 2025. So a clean, unmodified opinion, best one you can get. Then you go through a set of numbers, financial statements, schedules, disclosures, and then at the very back of your financial statements, you have another opinion on government auditing standards. And so in our opinion, we look at your internal controls, your policies, your procedures. We make sure that the way you handle cash, collect cash, the way you make your payments, you follow your policies and procedures that are set forth. Bank reconciliations, journal entries, there's proper oversight. So in our opinion, there are no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in your internal controls. So again, a clean audit opinion in the back. Also part of our audit deliverable and our responsibility here is to issue other reports and letters. So you're receiving a financial statements that's audited with two opinions. You're receiving a management letter that we talked with the budget committee. You're also receiving this communication here, the auditor communications, in a formal written format. And then the fourth report you're receiving this year is a federal awards report. So as a recipient of over $750,000 in federal funds, you are also required to submit a federal single audit, what's called. So this year we're separating it out as a fourth document, which is going to be moving forward. It's going to be separated out from your general financial statements. And this year, the federal program that we tested was the Student Financial Aid Cluster as your biggest federal program. And so what we do there is we basically put a federal agent hat on, and we make sure that the monies that are collected and spent for student financial aid follows the uniform compliance requirements that's set forth at the Office of Management and Budget at the United States level. So we make sure that all the costs that are spent, we make sure that the way the cash is managed for this particular program, we make sure that the internal controls are being followed, and they are. So clean audit on financial statements, the numbers are fairly present the activity of the college, no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal controls, and a clean single audit. So the way you're spending federal money is in accordance with the guidance. So clean audit overall. Just to highlight independence here, the only way for your financial statements to be reliable and mean something is for us as auditors to be independent of the college, and we are, myself, anyone in our firm. And then other matters, we expected this year to be a little bit more challenging with some departures in the business office, but really it's been a smooth audit all around. So it was a full scope audit, everything we requested we obtained. And we just want to thank that business office, knowing that with the departures that had happened, people stepped up and provided the documentation. Going through some financial trends here, we like to show every year 5 years of data. I'm not sure how big or small it looks on your end, but really the highlights here is we separated out because when the pandemic happened, there was some new one-time source of revenues that came in, basically the Pandemic Relief Fund, or the HERF funding from the CARES Act and the ARPA funds. But essentially what this chart shows is the blue line is your revenues, total revenues. The dotted orange line that's right under it for 21 and 22 represents your revenues less those one-time funds, so basically your operating money that you can expect every year. So the difference between your blue line, total revenues, and your one-time revenues caught up in 2023. So in 2021 and 2022, you received about $20 million of one-time revenues that we knew at some point was gonna break off, and we were just hoping that there wasn't gonna be this ARPA cliff where we're gonna continue to rely on that source of funding. So as you can see in 23, 24, 25, your revenues came back to regular operating levels without one-time funding. The red line here is your expenses. So the red line is your total expenses, and then we have that dotted yellow line, which is your total expenses less some change in actual estimates. So really the highlight here is that in 2023, we knew that the federal funding was going to be reduced, so the one-time aid was going to be gone. And so the college obviously knew that, and the college made some pretty tough decisions to kind of cut a lot of the costs down, knowing where enrollment trends were going. So in 2023, you see both your red line and your dotted yellow line expenses to be cut significantly. And because you did that, you were able to stay above your fund balance or your net position. You still generated sufficient revenues to meet your expenses. Had you not done those costs, your dotted yellow line or your red line would have been above total revenues for 2023. So certainly a good planning year in 2023, good budget year, and you met what you expected. Now we're going into 24 and 2025. As you can see, revenues are starting to go up again, and for the first time we saw an increase in enrollment, while your expenses are catching up. So your dotted yellow line and your red line are outpacing the growth in revenues for the year. So just to give you some numbers, at the end of 2025, revenues were $115 million, and then your operating expenses, so your expenses less those change in long-term actual liabilities that don't affect your day-to-day budget, so that yellow dotted line is $110 million. So $5 million is the change in what we call fund balance. That is compared to $10 million change in 2024. So there's a $5 million kind of increase in expenses over revenues compared to 2024. So certainly something to keep an eye on in the future. Again, we're seeing this trend. We don't know where the new source of revenues are going to come from, but we do know that expenses are growing pretty rapidly. So you are in a much better fund balance level than where we were 3 years ago. So now we're on the other side of the argument when we talk about fund balance policy, which we'll talk about. But certainly, great job in planning for the ARPA cliff in 2023, and you're still generating revenues over expenses for the last 3 years. Put some more numbers here. Operating revenues increased $7.7 million from the prior year. That included state grants of $11.5 million increase coming from tuition assistance program that was kind of reclassified at being reported as gross amounts of revenues and gross amounts of expenses this year. And then you saw increase in network infrastructure grants and security cameras, which caused state aid to increase by $4.2 million there. That was offset by expenses that we'll talk about in the next slide. Net tuition and fees did decrease $3.1 million, but again, that's a little misleading. Total tuition, gross tuition did go up $1.1 million, but because we include scholarship allowances, obviously enrollment went up, more scholarships were available, so scholarship allowances did go up $4.2 million, causing that decrease in tuition fees. Federal grants and contracts decreased $0.8 million. The last payment for CARES Act was received last year. Non-operating revenues and contribution include overall increase of $2.1 million from the prior year. Federal and state student financial aid, which again we tested in a single audit, went up $6.1 million. That's caused by increased enrollment. It's caused by increase in state aid, or increase in aid overall. And again, it's offset by that scholarship allowance that I just discussed. And then county contribution that you're getting every year decreased from $23.3 million to $19.8 million, which is the number that's been the standard budget number in the past, 19.8. On the expenses side, so operating expenses overall increased $13 million from the prior year. Scholarship expenses increased $8.1 million. Again, the new way of reporting those CAP tuition assistance programs and New York State scholarships, grossing both the revenues and the expenses caused the increase there. Salaries and wages increased $2.2 million from the prior year. That's 4.8%. And considering where we are now post-pandemic, considering what cuts had to be done in 2023, a 4.8% increase in salaries and wages certainly is very reasonable there. And then contractual costs increased $2 million, and part of that line includes some of the state aid for the infrastructure and network grant and security cameras there. So basically, contractual costs did go down once you remove those reimbursable grants. On the cash position, which we always like to show as far as how a kind of business type entity like the college is, as far as the government, how fiscally stable it is. So cash position, as you can see in 2025, grew another $8 million to $56.6 million. Of that 56.6, $50 million is included in investable CDs. Over the last 2 years, you've been able to generate interest earnings of $2 million in both of those years. So again, when you have the ability to have cash on hand and you're able to invest it, you're certainly maximizing that revenue source. So certainly good to see, again, when we compare it to levels where we were in 2021, where we're discussing low cash levels, being below fund balance policy and trying to enrollment trends going down, and we're trying to make some decisions there. Certainly on the bright side now, as far as 8/31/2025 is concerned. And then the last slide is more a focus of the fund balance, because when we show your total net position in your financial statements, so if you were to open the financial statements, you see this long-term view of the entity that includes, again, long-term actuarial liabilities of paying retirees over course of years, paying pensions. You get to a bottom line in your statement of net position that shows unrestricted deficit of, as you can see here, $142 million. Again, this stems from the amount of employees you have, the amount of benefits that they will be paid over time until they pass. So that liability, that net position is not a true net position of how the college operates. So we try to break it down and remove those long-term estimates that you pay as you go and you budget to get to a more current level of what's current fund balance for the college. And so although it's not directly reported on the face of your financial statements, as you can see here, current unrestricted fund balance at the end of 2025 is $43.2 million. That's an increase of just over $5 million from the prior year. And that represents 45% of your budgetary spending. So 45%, we like to say the percentage because we compare it to where your fund balance policy stands. And your fund balance policy that was adopted several years ago, I believe, talks about we're going to strive to maintain more than 2 months worth of expenditures or of expenses, which is 16.67%, but no more than 3 months, which would be 25%. So pretty restrictive, which as a credit agency or a user of a reader of financial statements would see very fiscally safe to have such a restrictive policy. But again, because you're over now the 25%, we communicated in that there should be plans to spend down this fund balance in the future. But again, you shouldn't make too many rash decisions because if revenues stay the same, expenses continue to grow at the pace that we're seeing in the market, about 6 to 7% per year. I mean, it takes 2 years and you're back to regular levels of your fund balance policy. So that can go quickly. So it took years to build this fund balance policy, but it could go quickly to revert back to levels at pre-COVID. So you're in a good spot now. That's what we have for presentation. So certainly continue to keep an eye on it, but yeah, it's a clean audit, and I'm available to take questions. I'm available throughout the year. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Thanks for your firm's good work. Ken, Budget Chair, any comments in the wake of all this?
The budget shows, the audit shows that the management of the finances is in good shape. And as I'd like to do when we see of an audit, look to the back pages to see if there's any deficiencies or problems that have been identified by the auditors, and there are none. There's no material problems, there's no deficiencies. And so on top of the finances being well in shape, the management of it is also in good shape.
Yeah. I think it's after the selection of a president, and maybe even ahead of that, is the maintenance of a fiscally sound institution, right? And that's what our job is to do. So I think we've accomplished that with some difficult decisions over a period of years. And Charles's comments were accurate along the line, as well as Ken's. Okay, thank you, Charles. We appreciate that. We'll accept that that set of financials.
Very welcome. Thank you, guys.
All right. Okay, very good. We now turn to our information items, and we'll follow that with reports and adjournment. From budget, audit, and facilities, we have quite a number there of routine informational items. Ken, you want to take us through that?
Facilities, James or Dr. Sagai?
Yeah, some updates on facilities. The city campus skylight project looks like to be wrapping up May 20th. They would do a 2-week testing on the windows, and then it would go into a clean phase. They predict around July 30th to release the building back to us, fully cleaned and ready to go. North Campus, there's 2 capital projects starting at the end of the semester, the Kittinger roof and the library door and window project. That should take us right into September, the start of the year. VTTC, we are in design phases. We met with staff, talk about needs and wants and things we need to do there. And then Cobham, same thing, design phase. We met with staff and students yesterday to go over some things they wanted. So we're moving along with those 2 things.
And then the Old South? So the Old South, we have 3 academic programs that we've been running. Maybe Eric, if you could come and speak to those, please. Thank you.
So currently at the Southwestern Boulevard location, there are 3 academic programs that are still currently teaching in the spring 2026 semester. It is at this time where the architectural technology program as well as the EMS EMT program are going to effectively move over here in the summer, starting for fall of 2026. The architectural technology program will be moving to the city campus location, and the EMS EMT is over to the north campus location. All of those have been discussed with SUNY System in alignment to our original plan, adjusting for some of these projects that were just mentioned here. We are also in conversations with the Collision Tech program that is currently at the Southwestern Boulevard location to identify then a partner in the industry where we will then be able to teach out those students that are currently in that program.
So the overall plan is to completely leave the Old South in terms of academic programs. We do have some rentals there, but also some of our staff. We're going to work through that during the summer to appropriately reallocate our staffing into perhaps most likely to the North Campus. So we will notify everyone appropriately using the expectation from the contract. But the idea is for us to really exit the Old South and move into the next steps in terms of decommissioning the building and working with Leslie and our legal team as well as SUNY and of course our board to work through that. So that's a plan into the fall semester. Thank you, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jane.
Some of these items were covered by Charles.
The next two, number 2 and 3, covered in the audit presentation that we just had. The financials through the period August 31st has also been covered by the audit, and so has the SUNY Erie Federal Awards covered by the audit. And then down to item 6, there's a report in board packages of payments to suppliers during the past month, nothing out of the ordinary. The labor management health financials have been trending pretty well, and nothing particularly to report on that. We've done the approval of the next budget. As far as the current budget, things are operating well. We're within our expenses and our projected revenues, and so we're headed in the right direction. We've got 4 or 5 months to go before we finish up the fiscal year. And then the last thing we had was the minutes of our last board budget meeting.
Okay, I'd like to ask you, and by extension the other trustees, my impression has been that the funding that we rely on under the state budget is not imperiled by the extension. Do you agree?
Yeah. If anything, we may get a little extra money, particularly in the Reconnect program. We're talking about bringing in some more money for that because it's been so successful. But there's nothing on the horizon that's going to in any way diminish the state aid, and so that the budget is solid. It can only get a little bit better if they provide some extra money.
Okay, good, thanks. All set?
Yes.
Okay. We have our curriculum, student success, and diversity, 3 items, including a set of minutes. Do you want to talk about items 1 and 2? Is it ours?
These are standard affiliation agreements following our boilerplate agreement that allow us to then be able to have students go out into the community to finish up their clinical or other really hands-on experience, and then standard minutes from the previous meeting.
Okay, thanks on the minutes. Dana and Dr. Sagai, I know Trina had to step away from us this morning, but she's in place as our marketing chair, and hopefully dialogue can continue among the 3 of you. You want to say anything in addition to that?
We will be setting up a meeting with trustees to go over some of the marketing initiative.
Okay. Anything out of policy and governance? Okay. Strategic planning, Carrie, I think you're still on unless she had to go to the bench.
I think she did. We're still working on that, and we'll have more information later the next board meeting.
Amanda, anything? We've got informational item on rank advancements.
Yeah, Lisa. Good morning, thank you. So part of the annual process at the college is the opportunity for both our faculty and administrative unions to have a rank advance and administrative promotion
process where those that are eligible complete a process. It goes through a review through the leadership team, and so we're happy to share that we have a number of folks that will be going through that rank advance and receiving those administrative promotions. Communication goes out to those that have completed that tomorrow.
In our materials, and some familiar names on there. That was nice. Okay, thanks, Lisa. Technology, Dave is here, but I think there's nothing new for the board this month on that. Right? As far as chair reports, into our reports now, from the chair, continue my weeklies, dailies with Dr. Sagai as always, monthly meetings in the RAF building. We last met on April 6th with the county executive and his team. I was glad to see James Blackwell there, which is nice, our friend and former colleague here at ECC. Our next meeting is Monday with the county executive, so I'm looking forward to that. That dialogue has been invaluable, and I think we keep that in place, is my advice on that. Out in the community, typically it's been the Easter season. I did a little traveling, so a lighter on that this month. Board recruitment efforts, we have Tammy here, delighted for that. And we do have a vacancy now with Melody's move out of state. So I am in dialogue with the governor's office about filling that seat. Nothing to report of solid yet on that, but Mosa Bundu has been very helpful. We attended with Ken, of course, the budget meeting on April 9th, quite robust. Chancellor John King continues to be a valued partner for us. He calls me periodically, I call him, we talk about things. He'll be in town May 7th and May 20th. He's a really good partner to, obviously, SUNY, where he's the chancellor, but to community colleges. We're not the poor stepchildren in his eyes. He is very engaged over what's happening here. He'll call me and just ask how things are going. It's great. And so when we get a chance to see him, I hope all trustees will express, and all colleagues here, appreciation to John for what he's doing in terms of hands-on engagement with us. May 7th, by the way, John King will be honored, our SUNY Chancellor, at the City Year Buffalo 2026 Gala, which actually will be held at Northland, which is exciting for us. We're the locale for that. I think Dr. Sagai and Gail have circulated information about that. Hopefully some trustees can attend. I do plan to attend, and it's a great chance to enhance our relationship, not only with our colleagues at Northland, but with John King.
On that note, Jeff, the college is also getting an award for that.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So
Okay.
Thank you to Eric.
That's terrific. And then, of course, May 20th, as a reminder, Chancellor King is our graduation commencement speaker, so it'll be nice to have him there. On the calendar in May 13th, 8 a.m. at the Admiral Room, there's an event sponsored by the foundation and our friends there. SUNY Erie Celebrates. Many of you have been to that and seen faculty members, staff, and others, community leaders, honored by a nice presentation by the foundation. They do a good job with that event. So another thing, 8 a.m. May 13th at the Admiral Room in downtown Buffalo for your calendars, please. Dr. Sagai and Gail can help if you'd like to attend. I think I mentioned this last month, but in case I did not, we got a nice compliment from the Association of Community College Trustees in terms of our self-assessment and the outside evaluations that we've done and talked about at the retreat, to the point involving our activities as a board, as trustees. And to the extent where they asked Dr. Sagai and I to come to Chicago in October to speak on that subject. And we were honored to say yes to that. Speaking of the foundation, we talked about May 13th in the Admiral Room, but on June 22nd, our foundation colleagues sponsor their annual golf classic at Transit Valley. So if you can look to go there, it's a fun event. Obviously golf, you can also just go for dinner, and they have a ton of raffles, and Jenna Bickler and of course Gail and Dr. Sagai can help you with that if you'd like to attend that, or get in touch directly with the foundation. That is my report, and I'd like to turn now to Igor, our student trustee, for his words.
There's nothing much to report, but I'm glad to say that students are being more open to us. They are communicating more. Apparently, they are seeing that they are being heard by us. At the same time, I would say that there's one student who reached out to me, and I'm already addressing that with Dr. Sagai later on. Out of that, everything is being super normal.
I would like to congratulate Igor on being reelected as student trustee for the coming year. Well done. Your counsel's been very valuable. I'm glad you're staying with us and for another year. College Senate report, Dr. Colleen Quinn, please.
All right, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
So we had quite a robust meeting in April. We're looking forward to a lot of business for our May meeting, which is going to be May 10th. But one of the very exciting things is we have Chancellor's Award winners. Mm-hmm. So part of what we do at College Senate is we help collect that and go through an approval process and then submit it to SUNY. So we have 7 winners this year. So we have Cindy Ludlow, who is a registrar at the South Campus, Renee Wooten, who is in our distance learning department, and Jonathan Gilbraith is a biology tech, and the one for professional service. We have creative and scholarly work is Lisa Wiley Maslow, and she is English faculty, and she's published actually quite often in the Buffalo News and other area publications, a lot of poetry. And then for teaching, we have Susan Rothwell, who is in the math department at the South Campus, and then Kristen Goss, who is culinary arts at the City Campus. So really exciting. Congratulations to them. We are working with the EDGE and our professional development department to honor those individuals in September. Thank you.
Thanks, Colleen.
Yeah.
Could you send that list to Gail so they can be added to the minutes, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sure. My pleasure. Yeah. A few other things. We had our Faculty Council of Community Colleges plenary in the spring. So we are going to be looking through a couple of resolutions that came out of the plenary to approve in the May meeting. One is kind of going to piggyback on what we were talking about with childcare costs and things like that, and that's to help advocate for additional funding to help support childcare and other student success basic needs. So 32% of community college students do use childcare across the community colleges. So supporting that for our students, as well as many other things, food insecurity, et cetera, is very important for our students. So we'll be looking at that resolution in May, as well as a resolution for strengthening information with AI, artificial intelligence, literacy, ethics, and equity. Along the AI lines, we have a task force that is working on some syllabus statements that we're going to be including for the fall semester. Those syllabus statements are going to be presented at the May meeting. One of the things that we're looking to add to those is a clause about intellectual property. So like an educational piece for students as well, if they take like a faculty assignment and load it into AI, they are, giving up my intellectual property, if you will, if it was like, say, one of my assignments. So including something along those lines, but also as an educational piece, because that's not something that students would do, obviously, nefariously. It's just, an educational piece. So that's one of the things that we'll also be discussing in May. And we're working with Leslie's office to finish up our probation and dismissal and fresh start policies, tightening those up a little bit, and then hopefully we'll have those ready for our June meeting, which will follow a professional development summer institute that morning. So that's an exciting day as well. And then of course, we're doing everything we can to help support graduation. It's May 20th. It's a great day. I'm there. It's a great honor to be there, and I get to, be on stage and say the names and see all my students and congratulate them all. So it's very exciting. So some great things coming up.
Kelly, can you speak about the host that we're going to be doing here in October?
Yes, yes. So the Faculty Council of Community Colleges has a fall and spring plenary, and we were approached by Candace Vasson, who is a SUNY trustee but is also the president of Faculty Council of Community Colleges, to have the fall plenary hosted here at SUNY Erie. So we've had a planning meeting, and we'll have a few more coming up, and we'll be working with the president's office, and that'll be in October. So that's very exciting. So all the community colleges and their faculty governance leaders will be coming here. So it's great for the college.
2 days,
It's nice
3 days?
visibility. It's
3 days.
usually Thursday to Saturday.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a long week.
Yeah, so it'll be a nice in October.
That's good. Colleen, for Dr. Alsace's information, could you just brief her and remind us about accessing Senate meetings?
Yeah, sure. So College Senate is the second Tuesday of every month. They are open meetings, so anybody is welcome to attend them. They are here up at the North Campus in Building B at 2:30 till about around 4 o'clock. And we also stream it online, so that it's on the same YouTube channel that the board meeting right now is being streamed on. The College Senate is also streamed live, so you can see it live, or you can obviously see it later on. And yeah, you guys are welcome to come to any of them and or watch and
Yeah, I've tuned
ask
in quite
questions.
frequently, and Colleen does a great job leading those. Gail sends to all of us the link just before, so you can, if I can't attend in person, I will click that YouTube link and have it on, and just have it's a good insight into what's happening on the ground in the college. So, okay.
All right.
All set? Thanks, Colleen.
Yep. All right, great, thank you.
Appreciate that. And now, Dr. Sagai's president report.
Sure, thank you. So today, as we are passing the college's budget as well as the audit, I think it's very clear that the college did some work to get us to a point where the college is stabilizing its financial stability. The key to that, though, we know that the state and the county and other entities that support the college, that may fluctuate and go up and down. But the important piece for the college is really our enrollment and retention. As we say, retention is the new enrollment. So I thought today would be appropriate to focus on that a little bit as to where we are historically. Maybe Eric, did I miss Eric? Eric and Adam will talk about where we are as a college, but I wanted to give us a little bit of context of how enrollment has been at the college and where we are at this moment in time. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, thank you. So looking at it at a zoom out level in terms of time frame. So if we go back to some of the peak enrollment we saw in the country, which would be around the 2009, 2010 era, we saw that community colleges, especially during that time, as well as four-year institutions across the country, really was some of the peak enrollment that a lot of these institutions would see. Following that peak, we did see relatively consistent declines in enrollment, and probably the drastic of which was observed in some of the community college space during that time frame. And so one of the actions that the Office of Enrollment Management took in 2021 was really looking at our local environment in terms of where those enrollment opportunities lied. And that's what really developed the strategic enrollment plan that the institution still follows to this day, looking at where was our market opportunity to be able to stabilize our enrollment. With the reality that the population trends of the traditional age student population was staying steady, luckily in our area, with a slight decline. But one of the key results from that was that the student interest in attending school, higher education specifically, was still relatively stable. So it showed that, in essence, the interest to attend higher education was there. The population, though, that traditional student population may not, though. One of the things I think, though, that was really fortunate for us in stabilizing us, but also having a goal in mind, was two things. One was the importance of retention and student retention. We would hear in many of these meetings, in fact, still today, that retention is the new enrollment. And that ended up becoming one of our key components in the strategic enrollment management plan. And so we really communicated out to the entire college community how important it is that students register before they leave for the semester. You'll hear it for those that listen to the College Senate meeting. Dr. Quinn, right, highlights, I think every single time right around this year, both fall and spring semester, the importance of make sure that students get registered, right? And I do want to thank Colleen and many of the faculty that will have their own faculty-driven events during the semester to really help that students register before they leave. That's our key time, right? We're engaged with them. And as we started to engage in that, along with, as David knows, as well as faculty, so thanks to Adrian, Kathy Clesto, and others, and math and faculty, with the Title III grant that we received, as well as thanks to Crystal and that team for managing it, we were able to see an increase in a lot of our gatekeeper courses, so English and math, again, speaking to the importance that retention is going to be important to keep our students here. So in terms of the impact that's had for us is where for the last few years, our retention of students has increased and as a result contributed to the overall increase in our enrollment. At the same time, and whether it was serendipitous or fate, will let fate or the stats decide it, we also identified the adult student learner was really a key opportunity within Erie County. And so when we established that in 2021, we as an institution had to look at how are we going to be able to attract but also retain that non-traditional student population as well. Go back to last year, SUNY and the state announces then the advent of the SUNY Reconnect program. And certainly I agree with Trustee Crewley and many others who see the impact of SUNY Reconnect here. It has really helped us to become a beacon for a lot of the adult learner population, 25 to 55, maybe with no college degree or some college experience. So students are very much interested in coming to us. And so we've seen our applications, in fact, for the last 2 years really improve drastically compared to prior years with that. So where does that bring us then to today? We are fortunate and we are seeing, I'd say a rebound, we'll say, specifically in the two-year schools, even across the country, that more graduates of high school are looking at two-year degrees and the value that they have, the importance of two-year degrees and how they can transfer successfully to four-year institutions. We've done a number of work to make sure that those partnerships, especially within the SUNY system, are strengthened. This is really a right time for the institution in terms of what we've seen now to stabilize, as well as also increase our enrollment at this time overall in the last few years. And so one of the things I think that's central to that is we have established a process, and especially with Adam's leadership in the IRAP office, of having the institutional research team be the source of truth in terms of our enrollments that we then send out on a weekly basis. And right now, with where we are in the semester, the focus is on our current students and how do we make sure that those current students are registered before they leave. So with that, maybe I'll let Adam speak a little bit more to the.
And really, as Adam.
Yeah, that's up here.
Thank you, Eric.
Yeah.
Adam is approaching to talk about what we see on the screen. I think it's important. This was a focus 3 years ago to make sure that the data is clean. That was a problem for the college historically, and so we worked very hard, certainly under Kathy Calesto, to really get that report as accurate as possible. But the other piece to that is that to make sure that we're communicating to the college community on a regular basis. And so in this case, once registrations start, we start the day of that week to communicate exactly where we are. The other thing that the college historically did not do is that have a set of goals for our continuing students, for our new students. In this category, you'll also see a stop out, those students who leave 1 or 2 semester, how do we reach them? So Adam, if you can, please go through exactly how many students we have on the continue side, and if you could share that chart with the group here. Thank you.
Certainly. Thank you, Dr. Sagai. And for those that are new, and for those that might need some reminding or whatnot, my position is IRAP, which is Institutional Research, Assessment, Accreditation, and Planning. So all of those things. This information is really a credit to the IR team. That's Chris Jones and Rayhan Arafat. They do an amazing job with cleaning and identifying data here at the college. So one of the things that we try to strive for is being the single source of truth, and whatever we put out with data integrity is very important to us. So for this, we send out to the community, to the college community every single Monday. We do break it down into 3 distinct steps. Traditionally it's been 2, but we've added a 3rd one for this semester. So we have our continuing students. These are students who were here in spring of 26 and who are registered for spring of 20 or fall of 26. So out of all of our students, we had 6,273. We have a projected grads of around 870. So we take those students out and we say that, and so we are left with 5,403 eligible students for fall of 26. Currently, we have 1,529 registered at about 35% to goal. Our goal right now is 4,400 for continuing. new. So these are students that are new to the college or coming back after 10 years. These are transfers-ins. These are students who were not successful or looking for credit recovery, anything within those categories. Right now we have 2,743. Obviously there's no grads there. So the eligible students of 2,303, and how we get between those numbers are we clean the data in between to verify that some of those students are not stop-outs or they are not continuing over. So SUNY has a distinction within our current data that any student, even if they were not here for 10 years, is technically continuing. So that's one of the things that we do spend time on cleaning that data to make sure that we're being accurate as to if the student is new to the college, first time full-time or part-time, or if they were here at some point in time earlier. We have not been focusing on new right now. We've really been focusing on continuing. One of the things that we found, and this is at a college at large, is the students who register early, we have a better chance of persistence between semesters. So we try to get at least 80% of our students registered prior to the end of the semester. So right now we have 258 new students registered, or about 9% on the goal of 3,000. We have added stop-out students. So stop-out students, this is a population that we're really focusing on from fall 24 up. One of the things for stop-out students is these are the students who were at the college but for some reason didn't continue on within the last 2 years. These are students that we feel have a vested interest in the college and are more likely to come back. It's also something that we don't want to leave the community where these students are leaving and then in debt and not have a degree or don't have an opportunity to continue on and become productive members or support themselves and their families. So stop-out students are a large portion of our concern right now. It's also a market that we'd really like to focus on. So right now, we have 4,761 stop-out students. So those are, we take all the students that were not here or that were here in fall of 24 and so on, and that are not here currently. And we remove any student who received a degree, certificate, micro-credential, and so on. We take out our advanced study population. So these are just the students that were here that left without completing their degree. And we had 4,761 of those students. 4,726 after cleaning them with regards to verification of information and data. And some of them are still in certificates, may not be in degrees, things like that, very small numbers. 35 of those have returned on a goal of 800, so we're at about 4%. And then by the end of it, we total everything up. That's really what we send out every single Monday. Again, the idea is transparency and single source of truth. We are doing our best to make sure that whatever we report out is as accurate as can be, and that again is all the IR's focus, and they do an amazing job with it. So thank you
so much, Adam. So just to go back in terms of summary, so the good news is that we have a lot of students who are wanting to come back, wanting to start with us, and obviously our continued students. The challenging is the yellow part, right? To think about, we have all these students who are entering our college, wanting to be here, are in our campuses right now, and as a total, we have 22% registered, right? And particularly with our continued students, we have about maybe 4 weeks left into the semester. They're busy in their finals, so the goal for the college is to be higher in those. Around 50 to 60% is where we should be with our continued students. With a new student, they're choosing, right? They're looking for colleges to go, and there's 38 universities, colleges across Western New York. So they're choosing us. So the fact that we're slow in registering those students, that's an issue for us as a college. So we have to really look at this and improve on the process. The stop out, that's a group that somehow, whether it's life or whether the experience they had at the college, that they decided to stop. we also have to reconnect back with them. So again, it's concerning. 4% of those students have been registered at this point in time. So as a college, as it was already talked about, our financial stability as the college, the student first is a critical piece for us. In the registration process, and I know Dr. Quinn does an awesome job during Senate to remind all of us about this, but it is really everyone's responsibility to make sure that all of our students register in a timely manner and that we are being very responsive to our students, because without this, that the college is not able to exist and none of us would be here. So I think we want to bring this, but again, I thought this was important for the board to know that this is the effort that the college has been putting. I'm confident with everyone's support and help that we get the number to a healthier close so that we could have a great fall semester. So thank you, Adam. With that, I also want to bring Dave Taylor to talk about academic momentum. I know Jeff talked about Dr. Keene, our chancellor, who is very big on retention and making sure that our students, not only do we bring them in at the college, and then making sure that all of their experience, both in and outside the classroom, is positive so that they continue to stay with us, but also to get them to the finish line of graduating, right? That is the most key, and not only just graduating, but after that, what happens? So we are part of an academic momentum. This is a SUNY-wide initiative to really focus on, and this is not just community colleges, it is all the colleges and university under the SUNY system that is doing this project. So we are on that, and Dave Taylor is taking the lead on that. And same concept, I would like Dave Taylor to go through the metric that is expected of us. But I think you'll see the history of the college and where we are right now. That I think it's an important piece to talk about.
Thank you, President Tsai. Thank you, board members. So we talked a little bit about this at the board retreat back in February, but context that Audia mentioned is important. This started Office of Student Success at SUNY Central and Chancellor King, probably the September-October timeframe. And this follows on work that's been done in other states, the Louisiana Momentum Framework. But the Academic Momentum campaign for SUNY is all 64 schools, the 4-year state-operated institutions, the 2-year community colleges, and the goal is to improve the value of our institutions through student success. So the 5 main metrics, you'll see a lot of different lines here, we'll talk about these, but 5 main metrics are retention, graduation, on-time graduation, credit accumulation, competing credits so that you have an on-time graduation. There is the gateway course completion, so that is math and English, the first English and math courses required for a student's program of study, and FAFSA completion to help students understand how they're going to pay for it, but also afford their education. So these 5 metrics are, universally identified as the key indicators that students will succeed in their 2-year or 4-year degree. So starting with students entering in the fall 2026 semester, we're going to be asked to improve our metrics. Important things to know there, this is only measured for our first-time full-time associate's degree seeking students. So you might have seen on the last slide with Adam's, sort of, I think it was a 3,000 or 4,000 goal for new students for the fall. Not all of those will be full-time, first-time, or in a 2-year program. So I think historically, and Adam and Eric can correct me if I'm wrong, but we usually end up with about 1,600 to 1,800 students in the fall that fall into the first-time full-time associate's degree seeking. First time meaning a student hasn't had any college course after their high school or equivalent credential. Full time, I think you know what that means, but for us it's 12 or more credits, and associate's degree is what it is. You can see historically our on-time 100% graduation rate for that group of students, thanks to SUNY IR for putting this together. There's a hidden 0 in there. You'll see that we're still working with SUNY IR Central, a great relationship with the IRAT team, SUNY IR, to fix some of these. Graduation rate, the most recent data from, I think this is fall 2023, students that SUNY has is 15.7. When you increase that to a student staying for a 3rd year, that gets close to 25.5. Students asking us to improve by 10%.
And I want to highlight that a little bit.
I knew you would.
Of course, right? When we ask our college community about our graduation rate, 50, 60, 70, that's the response. But the reality of it is this, it's 15. Even our students, when, and I'll talk a little bit about our listening session, when I talk to the students about why, we're doing the listening session, and I asked them, what do you think our percentage of retention is, or graduation? they're like 70, 80, right? So this is a reality for our college, right? We have the students and we have the community wanting to come to the college, but historically, you could see we're not even in that high level digit, right? So to be at 15.7% completion rate within 2 years, that's something that all of us should be concerned about. The goal that you see that SUNY gave us, they took all of the factors into it, so they gave us 25.6 as our target goal for those individuals that Dave was talking about. So this is a big deal, as Dr. Quinn mentioned about graduation and making that, it's really a celebration because those students that really make it through are doing awesome, but we have a lot of work to do to have more students walk the stage and shake the faculty and the rest of the staff. So I think this is a key for all of us to really think about what we do as an institution.
And the other metrics are important because they lead into that graduation metric. So in order to graduate, you need to be retained. So you can see our retention metric there. Gateway course completion, Community College Research Center has research that shows students who complete their English and their math required course in their first year are more than twice as likely to finish their credential. So getting students into these courses, having them complete them, be retained by the institution. And the 30+ credit completion is getting students to make sure that they can do 30 credits in their first year, 30 credits in their second year to get to graduation. So that graduation metric is probably the most trailing indicator here, but we'll be working on persistence internally, retention, gateway course completion, and then of course on the front side, the FAFSA completion so that students are able to take advantage of federal funds, New York State TAP, and other dollars that are available to them. Important things to note, a lot of this work for us is not totally new. So our Title III initiative, we're in the middle of that grant for a 5-year grant that focuses on retention, gateway course completion, and graduation rates. And there's some early success there. Retention rates, the most recent that SUNY had for us was 55.7%. The ACMO target is 63%, but as our Title III grant annual performance report from January showed, we're just a little under 59% retention rate for the fall 24 students. So there's already some nice success and pushes there. Same thing with our gateway course completion, so a lot of effort being done there with Title III. Some more things to talk about with ACMO, but there's a SUNY IR has a 0 in a spreadsheet that nobody can find, so that's why you'll see a 0 in this chart. But certainly our math completion is much higher than the 33 or the 42.9%. The most recent ones for our English 100, 101, 102 range about 65 to 69%. And same for our math gateway course completion, a lot of great title work there. So we have 8 of our courses between Math 112 through Math 181, which is early math through Calc 1. Hitting 70% plus success in most of those courses and getting higher. So some really good things there. Our action plan from SUNY was 12 pages long. It was submitted on February 5th after some questioning, was approved by SUNY at the end of March, working with our sort of 24 team members on campus between our official planning team, our internal working group to sort of push those initiatives forward, which focus on new student orientation through registration, so onboarding communication, working towards more holistic advising, so connections between what our great faculty members do with talking with students and getting them connected with resources they need that might be outside the classroom, so financial aid, resources they may need about I'm struggling with X because of Y, get more success there, and more early indicators for us to let us know what we need to do with our students to help out.
Well, addressing this, it depends on clean data, transparency, and having a plan. It can be tough to look at charts like that.
But I think it's important, right? We have to really talk about the reality of what we're doing as a college, and I think to Ken's point about some of the state funding and how the Reconnect program, for example, is being looked at to expand that. They're looking for data, though. They're looking for data to have evidence to make sure that the resource that's being allocated is proving fact that we are able to not only enroll students, give them the experience both in and outside the classroom to be successful, and then get them to the point of graduation and get them to the point of working. So that is really our goal. So for us as an institution, I think it's a fair thing for us to really look at the data, and we have gotten, thank you to the team who were able to do this. So data-driven decision is going to be key for us to allocate resources where it makes sense for our students. Thank you.
So many of our students are dealing with situations outside that
Absolutely.
present tremendous barriers to them. A single car repair can knock a student out of a class. I think if we as a college community can just always bear in mind, if a student is near you or needing you or wanting you, try to deliver immediately, because it's just one less barrier for them. And maybe you can help remove a barrier
That's
for them
right.
by
That's right.
coming with financial aid, for example, getting past, a problem that prevents them from, they don't want to drop out. They want to be successful and have families, and that's, I think we just all have to, on a cellular level, internalize the need to help clear away barriers and be actively assisting students.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think we go back to the whole notion of student first. Everything that we do at the college has to answer how does this help the students and move the needle for that. That's the first priority. And certainly our faculty, and Lisa will come and talk about some of the things that we're doing with our faculty and stuff, that's the secondary. And then to make sure that it also answers how does it help the college as a whole. So it's a pattern, it's a work in progress. I would say that we're moving in the right direction, but I do want to emphasize, as it relates to the budget today, if we're not putting a lot of effort and seeing at a speed level of what needs to happen in this area, that is going to be an issue for the college in general in terms of the stability of the college and to continue to grow in the future. So.
And you'll see a lot of things related to this as the strategic plan gets developed
Yep.
and put forward, because these all connect together.
Thanks, Dave, especially for the data scrub. Dr. Sagai, you have more? Or
Yep, last one. Go. Lisa? Almost done. So we'll kind of skip to some of the stuff, but I really would like for Lisa to focus on the college day and the adjunct day. And I know she has some information for you, so Lisa, please.
Yes, so thank you, President Sagai. So you may recall at our last meeting, we had the opportunity to reveal our new EDGE Center, which is the increased investment in the professional development for all of our faculty and staff, which to President Sagai's comment, the investment in our faculty and staff really focused on how that will lead and enhance the student experience and their success here. So the day after the board meeting last week, we were able to have our college day, which is one of our core 4 professional development days that happen at the college. So that is this program that Gail shared out, continuing our theme of innovation with intention, but where we really tried to focus in this day and this session was having extended what we call learning labs, where there was more opportunity for longer sessions, hands-on application and skill development, again, in those things that our faculty and staff would be able to take back into the classroom and to the service of students. So we had another, very positive day, well-attended day in March. And then for the first time, we created what we call the night edition. And so the next week we had an adjunct college day experience where we invited all of our adjunct faculty to an evening event at Cobham. We had about 30 faculty that came and participated in a shorter version, but highlighting some of the key things that we were also doing with the entire campus community. We had really fantastic feedback from the faculty that attended, appreciating that engagement, that investment into them, as many of our students are interacting with adjuncts in the classroom, across the college community. In addition to those two kind of core events, the EDGE Center is, looking to continue to invest in all of our faculty.
What's the EDGE Center, please?
It's the Center for Excellence in Development, Growth, and Engagement, and so that was the name that was selected by our campus community. And so really trying to implement the spirit and the priority that President Sakai has placed on investing in our faculty and staff. So we had 2 other sessions that have been going on. We had a spring virtual learning session, which we titled The Work Between the Work, which was really focused on communication and teamwork. Again, how can we be more effective and efficient as a college community to deliver on our mission and vision? And then last Friday, we had the first of a 2-part session in partnership with UB's Institute of Trauma and Trauma-Informed Care, which was building stronger connections, trauma-informed approaches to higher education. This was something that had been requested from faculty for some time to really develop those skills. Dr. Horn helped support that. We also had Title III money to support that, but really had great turnout, about 50 faculty and staff combined to really help us understand how we can better connect and understand what our students are going through and even each other as we work together. And we have the second part of that series will be held at Summer Institute in June. So again, looking to invest, provide skills, and build competencies that are going to help us achieve our mission and vision and contribute to those data points that we're trying to move towards.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lisa.
I'm excited about the Edge Center.
Yes.
That's a really cool thing.
We are too. Thanks.
And we will have a special space for it in this building as well. Just a couple of things. I know we're running out of time. We had our open house. We had a great turnout this is for our new students for the fall. That was a great turnout. We have our students getting, similar to our faculty, the Chancellor's Award, and we'll see a lot of our students. As we all know, it is our 80th anniversary at the college. You know, who would do cake better than our own students? So we celebrated it we were live streaming this so that everyone had, and you know, sometime in other locations we had cupcakes, right? Cupcakes similar to that, so that was exciting for us and our students. Next slide, please. Again, more community outreach that our students are doing. The culinary, as you could see, we have the SGA did the spring fling right there. As you could also see, our EOP award. This was downtown. We had about how many students were there, Eric?
About 40.
40 students were there. And public official, who did we have there?
Yep.
Right, so we had some public official there, and I know Jimmy talked about the South Campus yesterday. We had an open session for our students about the design. Natalie Tan from the county did the presentation in terms of some selection, the furniture and the setup of this new cafeteria. It's going to be wonderful for our students across the college to have this new space, and so we had that with our students as well as with faculty and staff. And then the last one really is the President's Listening Session. This is something that I do every year in spring. I had the opportunity now. In the past, we had students come perhaps around 12 o'clock at each of the location, but because the way we do our schedule and our students are very busy, that did not work well with us. So I reached out to faculty, we reached out to faculty and asked if we could come in and speak to our students, and they were really wonderful about this. So myself and Tanika went into classrooms. I think we're at about 125 students this week alone that I was able to go in and speak to them about. We had a set of questions just from, you know, academic support to student services support to outside issues and dilemma that they have. Campus safety, in the past, last year, campus safety was an issue across the college. I have to tell you, thank you to Chief, that our student and feel safe. And I know John's philosophy is community policing, and our students are seeing that, is that they see officers, but not only see officers, that they are able to connect with them in a very different way. So across the board, we saw that. I know there are some challenges at City, specifically with the homeless population. Unfortunately, the students recognize that as well. So does our officers, and we have a mechanism, a way to really address that issue, and the students are actually witnessing that whole process. So that was you know, a positive thing to hear across the college as I talk to the students. They are having you know, great relationship with our faculty in terms of responding and things. The same thing with some of our staff. There are some concern in terms of their time. Our students are very busy, so some of the activities that we do, they're not able to attend because they're just coming in, doing their classwork, and maybe studying and going out, you know, to work. So we have to think about all the different events under Dr. Hone about how do we do those events that make sense for our students, not necessarily what we think, but what is it going to work for them to make sure that our students are participating and engaging in those activities. Other things that they brought as a challenge and something that we need to is there is inconsistency across the college. So the students at City or at North are not experiencing, as far as service is concerned, in the same consistent way across the college. So this is feedback we will bring back to each of the area to make sure that we work on these things that really matter for our students. So, but I'm having fun. I'm having fun going into the classroom and getting to talk to our students. So,
All right.
yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there any old business that has not been brought up? Any new business anyone would like to bring up? Our next meeting, we will not have a scheduled meeting in May. In the unlikely event of a budget problem, we will have a special meeting, but I anticipate that our next meeting will occur on June 18th. Meanwhile, though, let's all see each other at commencement.
That's right. Thank you.
And that is a great night for all of us, everyone in this room. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn, please. Igor, second. Amanda? All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thanks, everyone, for your
Thank you.
patience. There was a lot of business today.
That.